this lecture, we will be dealing with infarction. These are some of the clinical examples where we encounter infarction. So myocardial infarction, which is commonly known as heart attack, cerebral infarction, which is known as stroke, and other infarctions include the pulmonary infarction, gangrene of the limb. By definition, infarct is an area of ischemic necrosis caused by occlusion of either arterial supply or venous drainage. Basis for infarction is vascular compromise, either in the form of obstruction to an arterial supply or in the form of impeded venous drainage. Coming to the causes for vascular compromise, and most of the arterial occlusions are due to thrombus or embolus. Venous occlusions are mainly due to thrombus formation. Other rarer causes for arterial occlusions include vasospasm, as you see in the case of coronary arteries in prinzmetal angina, and expansion of an atheroma due to hemorrhage within, and compression of a vessel by a tumor. So examples for this is mediastinal tumors can cause compression of superior vena cava. Retroperitoneal tumors can cause compression of inferior vena cava. Twisting of vessel seen in torsion or volvulus, where a free-lying organ twists upon its pedicle, compromising the vascular supply. Compression of a vessel by edema or maybe due to entrapment, as one see in compartment syndrome or obstructed hernia. And rarely, rupture of an artery may be the underlying mechanism for the infarct to occur. Depending upon the color and existence of infection, infarcts are classified into red or white, bland or septic. In bland infarcts, there is no infection, whereas in septic infarcts, there is infection, that is, organisms are present within the site of infarct. Coming to the morphology of infarct, first red infarcts, otherwise known as hemorrhagic infarcts, occur in those tissue which are loose, like the lung tissue, and it can also occur when there is venous occlusion as the primary event, and it is seen to occur in those tissue with double arterial supply, and it is also seen in a previously congested tissue and after reopening of an occluded vessel. The example for this reopening is thrombolysis of coronary thrombus or stenting of an occluded coronary artery. White infarcts, otherwise known as anemic infarcts, occur with arterial occlusion. The involved tissues are usually solid and they have end arteries. Examples for the tissue with end arteries are heart, spleen, and kidney. Grossly, most of the infarcts are wedge-shaped. This is due to branching and sub-branching of one vessel. When such a vessel is occluded, it produces a wedge-shaped area of ischemic necrosis. Notice the occlusion of an artery by an embolus, which is shown as a black mass within the vascular lumen, and the yellow area refers to the wedge-shaped area of necrosis. Base of the wedge is the surface of the organ. Apex of the wedge usually point to an area of occluded vessel, and lateral margins of the wedge may be irregular due to blood supply from surrounding zone. If the base is serosal surface of an organ like lung, then serosa may be covered with fibrinous exudate. Initially, the infarcted area is poorly defined and may appear as hemorrhagic. Later, the margins may become clearer with hyperemia. This is a case of acute myocardial infarction. Interventricular septum shows hemorrhagic area of infarct in the early stages. After a few days, the margins become hyperemic due to granulation tissue formation, as you see in this case, and the infarcted area stands out as a pale yellow area in the interventricular septum. Left ventricle showing an old infarct which is healed by fibrosis. The whitish areas are the scar tissue. Section of the lung showing triangular area of reddish brown infarct. So image B is white infarct of the spleen. X-ray of the chest showing triangular area of pulmonary infarct involving right lung. Multiple splenic infarcts appreciate the vague wedge pattern. So histologically, infarcted tissue show the features of necrosis either in the form of coagulative or liquefactive necrosis and inflammation at the margins, and depending upon the age of the infarct, there may be granulation tissue formation and infarcts heal by fibrosis. So in this histology of the kidney infarct, notice an area of infarct which appears eosinophilic with loss of nuclei in the tubular lining cells, which is highlighted in the lower half of histology image. This slide shows the area of myocardial infarction where there is extensive neutrophilic infiltration at the margin of the infarct. So this infarct must be more than 24-hour old. So this kidney shows an infarct which is healed by scarring. Notice the gray-white depressed area in this kidney. The factors that determine the development of infarct include nature of vascular supply, rate of development of occlusion, vulnerability of the tissue to ischemia, blood oxygen content. Coming to the nature of vascular supply, organs or tissue with double vascular supply may withstand ischemia caused by obstruction of one vessel. Examples for the tissue with the double vascular supply include lungs supplied by pulmonary and bronchial arteries, liver supplied by portal vein and hepatic artery, and hand and forearm are supplied by ulnar and radial arteries. Organs like kidney, heart, spleen are supplied by end arteries, and obstruction invariably causes infarction. Second factor is rate of development of occlusion. In slowly developing occlusions, there is time for the collaterals to open up or alternative perfusion pathways to develop. Third factor is vulnerability of tissue to hypoxia. Neurons are highly susceptible and they develop irreversible changes in 3 to 4 minutes of ischemia. Myocardial cells can last for 20 to 40 minutes, whereas fibroblasts can be viable even after many hours of ischemia. Lastly, oxygen content of the blood. Coexistence anemia in a patient with partial occlusion can precipitate tissue infarction. Congestive heart failure may precipitate infarction in tissue supplied by partially occluded vessels. What is the critical value for hemoglobin? The critical value for hemoglobin is 7 grams per dl. And why it is set as 7? It is because when the hemoglobin falls below this level, even in a normal person with normal coronaries, the subendocardium may suffer ischemic damage. So that is the reason why you should do something to avoid this possibility. This slide represents a compartment syndrome involving the right leg. Notice the swollen right leg with the stretched out shiny skin. Soft tissue in the leg are enclosed in tough fascia. Inflammation in such tissue planes may result in swelling that may cause pressure effects on the vessels with vascular compromisation and ischemic necrosis. Fasciotomy allows the tissue to expand freely, hence can save the limb from ischemic damage. Bowels may pass through hernial orifice and may get entrapped, resulting in ischemia and infarction of the bowel. As the bowel loops are loosely hanging, they may get twisted upon their own mesentery and may result in ischemic necrosis. So this is called as volvulus. These two images show the volvulus of sigmoid and cecum. Notice the dark color in the left image. This indicates gangrene has set in. Testis and epididymis showing blackish brown discoloration due to torsion, resulting in hemorrhages and necrosis. This CT image shows an hypodense area in the right hemisphere representing infarction. This area has very little anastomosis among anterior, middle, and posterior cerebral arteries. Any hypotension may precipitate ischemic damage in this area. This area is known as watershed area of the brain. This image shows bilateral gangrene of the fingers due to ischemia. Summarizing, infarction is grossly appreciable area of ischemic necrosis, may occur due to arterial occlusion or impeded venous drainage. Infarcted areas are usually wedge-shaped. Infarct can be red, white, septic, or bland. And oxygen content of the blood, tissue vulnerability to ischemia, nature of vascular supply will determine outcome of an infarct. Thank you.
The references for most of the pathology lectures are pathology textbooks, mainly including Robbins and Cotran, Pathologic Basis of Disease, and images from online sources. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe and click like if you like the video.